I just want to say, you guys are doing a great thing. It's such an uncomfortable topic to talk about, especially for a guy, young guys in their early 20s. And, I'm glad that, I could tune in and, listen to you guys.
Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Well, looky, we are finally here. Welcome, everyone. 888-659-3727. Everyone who was holding on before, look, shit happens. What are you going to do? Joe's going to try his best to do the show without being distracted from the echo that's coming through his ear, and we'll see if we can work things out. But we are still here to answer your questions, take your calls. I tried to do this simultaneously. Hi. I tried to do this simultaneously on TikTok, which I just started doing a TikTok. I got to tell you, man, you think Instagram's vicious? The kids on TikTok are, that is a vicious play. You need to have a thick skin in order to deal with these kids.
Yes, you do. They're crazy.
So crazy? Holy cow. But I was trying to go live. I was going to see if I can go live on there now and trying to do a jerry-rig thing and see, because it seems to be growing pretty quickly. But they want, like, facial recognition. It's a whole thing. They're really trying to get your shit. This app.
Jay Jones says in the chat room that I have an echo on the show as well. Is that true? Everyone?
Hold on. You don't have an echo in my ear.
Yep. Big echo, Joe. Yes, from Robert Hellner.
Well, let's see. Why would you have an echo coming into the program, into the show? Let's see.
Just so everyone knows, nothing changed my setup from last show. It's been off.
I'm going to turn off my...
Fired it up today, and here we go.
I'm going to turn off my mic, and I'm going to see why Joe has an echo. So, Joe, speak for a second.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. I still hear myself.
So what's weird is I don't have an echo. So the main mix would have both of us echoing. So let me go into your guest profile. And everything on the guest profile is exactly the same. So there should be no echo whatsoever, at least coming from our end. Speak.
Check 1 2. Check.
Yeah. If it's not coming, if you're not echoing to me, and if it's not showing up in my mixer here in the software, then that's really bizarre. Are you somehow... Did you somehow connect directly to YouTube? I guess you have to connect to YouTube to make this happen. I send a feed to... It's very odd, people. Very odd.
Very odd indeed.
We do have a full board, though. 888-659-3727. Finally get on this summer, and here's a screw up. Let me see if there's anybody in GFQ Studios who can maybe help us.
Okay.
While we try to correct this. And meanwhile, I can take a call while we make this happen. Let's see if Suncast is around.
I would try to fill some dead air, but it's just more echoes. Echo.
All right, guys, phone number 888-659-3727. Let's see if we can get this fixed somehow. In the interim, I'll take a phone call, and Joe can just sit there looking pretty. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from? And, guys, let me know if there's an echo coming from the caller. That shouldn't be the case. Hey, caller.
Hey, Spencer. Am I on the air?
Yeah.
It's Mikey. How are you?
Mikey, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Yeah, I can confirm Joe Tillman looks very pretty.
Yes. It's funny. I just started... You suggested I do TikTok a long time ago. I just started to do it last week. Man, these kids are brutal, Mikey. How do you deal with it?
Good. It's all good. But yeah, I can confirm the echo comes from the YouTube. I'm not hearing it when I'm talking to you, so it's good between you and I.
Now, let me ask, Joe, do me a favor. Speak and see if what Mikey could hear.
Yeah, Mikey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you look great and you sound great, Joe.
So
Thank you. But do you hear the echo too?
Nope. So it's perfectly fine.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm not sure how to deal with that because I'm sending the feed, right? But you're echoing through Ustream, but you're not echoing through Mikey. Anyway, Mikey, what's up?
What's up? I actually had something I wanted to talk to you about, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. So it's like no matter what dermatologist you go to, you're in your early days of having hair issues, it is like a kind of a one-pronged approach where they go, oh, hey, you're losing your hair, get on a DHT blocker.
Yeah.
Right? And, that is very effective, as you know, but I feel like that's just getting a little bit outdated in the sense that we have emerging science and we have studies that show that there are other pathways that are responsible for hair loss, and dermatologists don't even entertain the conversation of dealing with any of these pathways. And I think one of the big ones are PGD2, inflammation in the scalp.
Well, we do know that there are some doctors now who are at least admitting. I mean, now it's androgenetic alopecia was initially framed as a non-inflammatory alopecia. Now, at the very least, there's, they're claiming that there is inflammation involved, and in some cases, it could be highly inflammatory. I mean, the guys that seem to be the most progressive at the earliest age seem to have a significant amount of inflammation compared to those who have a slower progression. But DHT is still a major culprit.
Correct. Now, there are drugs out there that do deal with PGD2 specifically, and they've tested them with hair loss, and I've 2 or 3 of them kind of didn't make it through the whole clinical process, but one of them has a very low side effect profile, and it does show effects for hair loss. And I've only seen one company within the past 6 months add this to their kind of arsenal of hair loss drugs. And
what's the company?
I don't know if you've heard of it.
What's the company?
Roots by GA. It's a brand new company, Roots by GA. So what they do is they actually make you initially do a genetic profiler. They look for your biomarker.
Yeah, I know the doctor involved with Roots. He actually applied.
Oh, cool.
Literally 6 times to the IHRS. Never, maybe more. Maybe more. I'm not saying he didn't make it. Never followed through with his application. So I don't know if he has a staff member who constantly, or a new staff member every few months, who wants to be involved, and then
you're on the cold email list.
Yeah,
I never follow up.
Yeah, and then we provide what they needed to apply, and nothing.
Interesting.
So I have a feeling they just want to pay to play. Which listen, eventually maybe I'll do that. Fuck it. Nobody's grateful anyway for what we do. Except for you, Mikey.
Yeah, well, no, I am grateful. I'm very grateful between you and Joe. And Joe, by the way, Joe and I had a podcast the other week.
Check.
And we made a whole bunch of clips that I put on TikTok. And just this morning, I realized there was a news publication that took one of our clips and kind of embedded it in their article.
Really?
And I'm like,
nice.
What the fuck? They didn't even mention me or Joe. They just put the clip in, and they're like, to support one of their claims. It was like the I just messaged them today. I'm like, hey guys, you mind putting in our names? And we'll see what we'll hear back. But yeah, people don't appreciate things.
No.
Yeah, I get it.
No, they don't. But yeah, listen, I definitely believe in these different pathways. I'm not going to talk about the drug that I'm considering, but I have been dealing with some senescent alopecia and some retrograde alopecia. I don't see a tremendous amount of shedding, but I definitely see a diminishing of my overall hair density. And the nape, I have to cut it much shorter. I haven't had a haircut in a month, and it's getting stringy. It's just like,
right.
It's depressing to continue that. I mean, I'm still fighting this at 60 years old. So there are some vasodilators out there. We know about low-dose oral minoxidil. The problem is that it really does push your scalp, your hair into an anagen phase quickly. And most people will go through a significant shed.
Off me.
Yeah, I will. Good idea.
Joe.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, Joe. So there are other vasodilators that don't necessarily. You're not going to get a tremendous amount of growth from it, but it's possible that it's going to act on inflammatory issues as well as scalp modeling, problems that we get as we get older. And eventually I'm going to write about this drug. I'm considering using it. But the thing is, this is one drug that may actually help with the retrograde alopecia. No one's talking about it in hair loss. I may be the first to try it.
I'm definitely going to look forward to when you kind of announce it.
Yeah.
Even in a non-promotional manner. I mean, just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Because
I can't promote it.
It's like you, kind of. Yeah, no, I know. But I've been on finasteride since my early 20s, and I've definitely seen a little bit of diminishing effects. And within the past year, I significantly changed, my medication, and I can't tell you how good the results have been. I have started picking my hair up, which I can't say I've done in like years.
So tell me about. So what are you on right now? Because you were talking about getting a hair transplant a year ago.
I was considering it, and I even went and I got certain appointments, and I kind of felt like the marketing was pushed in a way where like, hey, you've exhausted all your options. This really is your best next step. And I don't know. I a little bit called bullshit on that. I'm like, there is so much science out there. It's not necessarily consolidated by the FDA, and it's a little anecdotal. But what I'm clearly seeing in terms of my anecdotal experience is, minoxidil has got limited effects. Citrazine has got limited effects. Tretinoin is limited effects. But when you use them cohesively, you get this net positive compounded effect that really does seem to work really well. And first of all, one of the most interesting things that I did was get on Lonitid. I'm growing hair everywhere, which is kind of annoying.
That's the thing. I'm considering doing that for myself, but I'm not necessarily prepared to go through a significant telogen effluvium that will affect me cosmetically and emotionally for 6 months right now because I'm not seeing a shed, currently.
Yeah, so that sometimes can be a real inhibitor. It's taking the next step is worried about some secondary effects like telogen effluvium. I know it sucks, but you kind of want to cross that and get over it and get into a better place because if you are seeing diminishing effects, sometimes it's good to take the next step. I've definitely taken a lot more like pills and I've added a lot more.
Now you sound like me, Mikey, after all these years.
Yeah.
Now I'm the one. I'm the one who's freaking out again.
It's never going to stop.
Check.
Hold on, I can hear you, Joe.
No, but I will say this. I thought like I'm taking all the typical. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I was taking all the typical stuff and just adding a whole bunch of stuff to topically, and even adding Lonitid orally really has significantly changed the texture of my hair, the thickness of my hair, and I'm seeing kind of like where I see a little bit of vellus hairs on the hairline in the temple area for 3-4 months. It grows in, and then I find that interesting because once those vellus hairs become terminal, they don't have the same density as before, but then I see like it gets even lower where I see additional vellus hairs pulling down lower on the forehead. Then after 3-4 months, those grow in, and then I see additional vellus hairs pulling down. And that's been going on already for 3 cycles. So for those who have been on finasteride for a long time and, been taking the typical finasteride, Rogaine and whatnot, I think it's interesting to explore other stuff because,
No, it's interesting. You said something. You said it's gone on for 3 cycles. When you mean 3 cycles, you mean 3 effluviums? Because you're not going through 3 hair cycles in such a short period of time.
Well, it's been about a year, and I've in the interim I've added stuff, and I do a lot more low light laser therapy, like the cap. I put it on before I go to sleep almost every other night. So I do a whole bunch. Like I literally went through everything, and I would say it's been about a year. And every 2, 3, 4 months, I would say it's been about. In the longer end, it's been about 4 months where I'll see like a certain, maybe like a half an inch of vellus hairs kind of prop up, and they would stay vellus. They wouldn't grow for a while. And then they would start getting a lot thicker, and then I'd see additional vellus hairs start to sprout a little bit lower. So I've seen about 2 or 3 of those in the past year. Okay. Which is a good sign. That means that I'm regrowing hairs.
100%. Now, listen, I've seen some incredible results, with these growth stimulators, vasodilators, oral minoxidil, for sure. And that's, there's a lot of confusion out there. People think that they could just they could just take these oral minoxidil, and not take a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor.
Check.
Or not do anything else that's going to affect you hormonally. I've known, if you just take a vasodilator, you may be able to keep your anagen phase longer. You may be able to go through 2 or 3 anagen phases, which is a long period of time. But in the end, you're still going to lose out to hormones.
I completely agree with you, and that's where I was talking about those compounded net positive effect. There really is something there, and if you're not taking a reductase inhibitor, if you're not blocking your DHT production, there's everything else is secondary.
Hold on, Jones said he thinks you fixed it. Jay Jones.
Yeah, I didn't fix it. I can still hear myself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, but can they hear it? Can they hear an echo? Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Maybe.
No, I just want to share with the listeners that personally I've been really happy with citrazine. I've been very surprised, and I feel like now when you go to a dermatologist, there's DHT, which is extremely important, and I completely agree with everything you said about finasteride being the number one thing you jump on.
Why don't you explain to people what citrazine is and how much you take?
Yeah, so the original study was done, I think it was in the mid-2000s, I think it was 2015, 2014, where they found very high levels of inflammation, a certain kind of inflammation in the scalp. And for those who are bald, the areas that were bald had that much higher levels of PGD2, prostaglandin D2 inflammation. And by the way, citrazine is used for the common cold.
Yeah.
Right. Speaker. One moment.
Take this moment to test again. How's the echo, guys, in the chat room? You can hear me, right, Spence?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it's still there.
That's so weird, man. All right, let me see something.
It's really bizarre.
I mean, I'm trying to see if it's coming from my end. I don't have anybody helping me here. But I'm looking at the main. Let's see. KFQ Studio. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready, Spencer.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so essentially, citrazine, which was initially an antihistamine, and it's used to inhibit inflammatory effects when you're sick, has similar effects where it inhibits PGD2, and it promotes PGE2, which is normally what you find in vasodilators like minoxidil. So, yeah, I mean, I've been taking it. I've been happy with it. And a similar drug would be, a similar drug in terms of having effects would be latanoprost and bimatoprost. Those are similar PGD2 inhibitors as well. And, there was actually the whole Latisse thing, which I'm sure you know about, initially where Latisse was used to create those longer eyelashes. And it was seen to, why not work on the scalp? But the problem is, even if these things work anecdotally, they don't go through the whole rigorous process of clinical trials. So dermatologists don't really, jump on them. But these are things I think that are worth trying. And I think companies we talk about them all the time. Hims, you have Happy Head, you have now Roots by GA. They're all incorporating this in their concoctions. And I know the issues with pharmaceutical rigor and getting the right quality. But hopefully someone out there can meet that benchmark that you guys strive for. And I know you mentioned that there was one that you were in talk with, but hopefully one of these guys can emerge out there and get highly recommended by credible people.
Yeah, it's funny. I know the guys who started Happy Head. Really nice guys, and they have a interesting CEO. And when I spoke to the CEO about just presenting what we needed, it was like, what? I'm like, why wouldn't you just provide full transparency? What's the big deal? Now they're doing quite well, which is great. It's great for them, but we want to make sure that whoever we are able to.
But you know why?
Yeah,
I could probably get in their head and make that assumption, because we're like the 1% of people who like have gone down the rabbit hole, who have that esoteric nuance between what's good and what's bad in the industry.
Right.
The regular person who's Googling it, Google high of hair loss, they don't know even what DHT is. They just go, this is going to help my hair loss. Wow, before and after looks great. Wow, there's so many good reviews. Wow, their Instagram is popping. Boom. That's what they need to make the sale.
No, 100%. But the thing is, these companies want to pay for a license. They want to carry that seal. So they're willing to offer even more money just to say, look, this is what we think the value is. Why not just take it? We'll promote the American Hair Loss Association. I'm like, I can't just take it. That's the whole point of what we're doing. That's why we created this trusted brand program. So it's not as though they're thinking, well, we don't want this to make our sales. They know that whoever gets this will own the lion's share of the market. And they're willing to pay for it, but they're unwilling to provide transparency.
Right. Maybe it's a basic cost-benefit analysis for them, where it's like you're getting this level of integrity and consistency between pharmaceutical productions and where we source our drugs from. It might be way more expensive to get it from X over B over Y, and therefore it's just we get our sales from Joe Schmo who finds us on Instagram, and we're getting a lot of traction that way. And why not just double down on that?
Yeah,
that's probably what they're thinking, if I had to guess. Not that it's the right way of thinking, but yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, that's it's all. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see in the past 2-3 years the competitive landscape is kind of just changing, and I think that for the longest time it's been like a one-trick pony when it comes to hair loss, and I think things are getting a little more creative. Whether it's the best system and it's got the most integrity, it can be questioned. But at least there's some inching forward here where there's an element of creativity and innovation.
Well, listen, I agree 100%. And I think I was just interviewed for something on the radio and also that's going to be online. And they were talking about these companies. And I provided them with my insights on the benefits of Hims and Keeps and all this stuff and the fact that it's really out there now in part of the fabric of our culture again, where patients and young people realize, okay, there's medication out there that could actually help, but it's a double-edged sword because of all these mashups, and we really don't know where the product is being sourced. So I am kind of torn. I'm all for the innovation, all for the promotion of these drugs, and all for the normalization of like, hey, listen, early intervention, you could really do something about your hair loss. But I'm also concerned about, young kids taking these combination drugs with dick pills, and they're kind of stuck on this stuff for life. They don't know what they're taking.
Right, 100%. And I will say this, Spencer, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I will say this. I agree it's a double-edged sword. There's a reason why the FDA, is so well trusted. But a way to mitigate the downside and maximize the upside is to do your due diligence. Here's an example, like laser caps. You're going to go get the specific company that was FDA cleared and pay $2,000 for a laser cap. It's a goddamn laser diode. It runs at a specific frequency and nanometer length. You find that same one online. You go on Amazon, you buy a laser cap for $100. For the most part, the section be vastly different than the one that was FDA cleared. Maybe I'm missing something here, but for $100,
You're not.
And you put it on before you go to sleep. To me, it feels it has significantly helped my hair, and I'm happy with it. So, that's an example of just like doing a little bit more homework, being willing to go through a bit of a testing process to kind of anecdotally get some data back so you can make the best decision. I think if you really care about your hair, I think it's worth it.
Well, listen, I don't think that you've done really well, and you've been doing this for a long time. I am becoming more open to a lot of things over the years, especially low-level laser light therapy, for sure. My concern again, you talked about you understand the nuance of these medications, of these therapies. Most kids don't. Most young people don't. You kind of understand what to look for. You know what to look for when you
perfectly do.
Say that again?
I can't say I perfectly do. I wouldn't call I try to do research when I can and at least try to make good educated guesses, to be least.
Well, listen, you're doing well, and you saved a lot of hair. Joe, I'm going to try something here, So you speak into your mic when I try this.
All right. Check 1, 2.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
All right, now you're not coming through. Let's try this.
And I'm not hearing. Okay. I wasn't hearing the echo when you couldn't hear me, but now I am.
Right, so let's try this. Speak.
Okay. Check 1, 2. I hear myself.
Okay.
People in chat room, you can let us know when you hear or don't hear the
Speak.
echo. Check 1, 2.
Do you hear yourself?
Yes, I do.
Hold on. Try it now.
Check 1, 2.
No,
No echo.
Okay. Yeah, it's not. I don't see it coming from my end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mike, listen.
Okay.
I appreciate your insights. I'm so glad you're doing well, and you don't need a hair transplant now, and you're actually growing your hair back. And how old are you now?
I am 35.
Jesus, really? You're 35?
Wow.
Yeah, I get that all the time. Listen, it's not just the medication. I mean, I fast 18 to 20 hours a day. I do intermittent fasting. I do a lot of stuff to keep myself healthy, and I actually think that reduces inflammation as well. So,
I do all that stuff.
Yeah.
It does.
Why is my hair still falling out? No, listen, I'm lucky, man. I'm 60 years old. The amount of hair that I have in my head, I thank goodness every day.
Spencer, you look amazing. You and Joe look great, and you're good poster boys for finasteride and hair transplants.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Listen, Mike, you have a podcast and everything. How can people find you?
Oh yeah, it's the Michael Paris podcast. It's not that original. I stick with the name, but yeah. So I talk about everything health, and hair loss is certainly something I'm talking more about, which I think everyone should.
Well, more people are. Sadly, most people are leading, kids into the lion's den. But you're very knowledgeable, and I'm going to look into some of the stuff that you actually talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I actually posted a paper on Longevity One for some of that, like some of the biomarkers that Roots by GA looks for. I think it's really clever. So what they do now is they make you take like a swab, and then they look for your specific genetic markers, and then they can kind of start customizing. It's not a silver bullet to figuring out, but it gives you more information. So it's kind of like it tells you, hey, you have this, you're susceptible to this and this kind of gene here, and this is why we recommend you do more of this and less of that. And in some cases, they'll be like, hey, minoxidil might not even work for you. We have other, pathways to help you with your hair. So that's why Roots.ga is doing something that I find kind of innovative in the industry, and definitely worth looking into.
All right, brother.
I don't represent them, and nothing to do with them, but
all right. Well, maybe we will. All right, brother. You take care.
Take care, guys.
Okay,
take care, Mikey.
Enjoy your day.
All right, guys, hold on. Let me try this. All right, that's a solo monitor. I'm just... EQ is right. Channel system is right. Speak, Joe.
Check 1, 2. Check.
All right, do it again.
Check 1, 2. Check. I'm hearing myself.
I know. Hold on, guys. Speak.
Check 1, 2.
Okay, speak.
Check 1, 2. Still hear it.
Hold on. Speak.
Check 1, 2. Still hear it. Everyone, they still hear it in the chat room.
Try it again.
Check 1, 2. Still hear it.
One more time.
Check 1, 2.
Now they can't hear you at all. Can they hear you in the chat room? I'm curious.
Check 1, 2, guys. Can you hear me? Ken Kramer says fixed. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no?
They hear you? Say, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down.
I hear him fixed. It's faint. Check 1, 2. Can you hear me? Fixed. Yeah, everyone's saying yes. It's fixed. Can you hear me, Spence?
I can't hear you, so you have to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay.
Yeah, it's fixed.
So now when I turn this on where I could hear you, they're going to hear an echo again. Speak.
Check 1 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. This fucking thing, man.
Yeah, echoes back.
Let's see if this guy's around.
It's a tough one, boys and girls.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I see here that's a problem, except when I turn off the bus, which is what brings us, which mixes us. I can't hear Joe, but you can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess what I can do is, for now, if they could hear you, is take a call. If someone asks you a question, I'll turn this off. And they could hear you, and I can't hear you.
It's such a hodgepodge. But, you get your wish, so.
You know? All right. Let's take a call.
We'll try it. Yeah.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kenny from New York.
Hey, Kenny, what's happening? Let Joe say hi.
Hi, Kenny.
Hey, Joe. I can't.
So you
How
can't
you
hear
doing, buddy?
You can't hear Joe either. So Joe is only going to be able to speak to the audience.
I just heard Joe, I think. Wait,
Yeah.
Say something.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on with our connection. Like it seems like my side is normal, and Joe's side is normal, but for some reason the connection there's like something happening with the audio bus. So I'm just going to get up and throw this entire piece of shit out and go home.
No.
So what's happening?
Good. I just wanted to call. I've been a long-time caller now. I've been on Propecia for a little over 10 years. I started taking it at 23. First started noticing my hair loss like a month before my 21st birthday. Didn't get on it until I was like 23.
Oh, wait a second. That's not a dumb suggestion. Guys, Joe, just turn off your mic, call me, and hold on. And you'll talk.
Yeah, we'll try that.
You can talk on the phone. All right, brother. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I've been on Propecia now for 10 years, but I'm calling tonight because I'm noticing a little bit more shedding now. And I've gone through sheds before in the past, but what concerns me about this shed is like I'm noticing like new hair growth on like my arms and like my beard. So I'm just concerned if like the medication's no longer working or if it's peaked already. Like I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
All right, so how long have you been shedding and what did you add? Did you say you added something?
No, I didn't add anything. I've probably been shedding now for maybe like 3 weeks roughly. And it's like I'll notice like more hairs in the sink if I'm brushing it, and I've also like my hair was longer, and sometimes I'll get like a buzz cut a little bit where I'll buzz the sides and back to like a 1 guard, and the top I'll buzz to like a 5 guard. And I'm still noticing a little bit of shedding, obviously not as much because the hair is shorter, but yeah, I've been on Propecia now for like 10 years. And, I've maintained what I've had for 10 years for the most part. I do notice like my left side temple is maybe receding a little bit, and maybe like a couple of hairs in the hairline look a little bit more vellus, which is where like my hair loss started.
All right, did you notice if your pharmacy switched out your medication at all?
What do you mean? Because I take name brand.
So you're on Propecia or Proscar?
No, Propecia.
Okay. So you've just been taking Propecia, no changes at all?
No, nothing.
Yeah. And any other changes in your life in the last probably 90 days?
Well, like I would say about 2 months ago, maybe 2.5 months ago, I went through like a pretty stressful event in my life. And I get like acid reflux, and my acid reflux was really bad, where I got on omeprazole for like 2 weeks. And, just having anxiety and things like that.
Well, that could definitely be it. Even just getting on another medication for a few weeks, 4 months ago or 3 months ago. That's, essentially whatever you did 3 or 4 months ago could be causing whatever effluvium you're having now.
That's interesting too, because like now I'm also experiencing it's because I was listening to the other caller, and
hold on for 1 second.
Little bit of,
By the way, Joe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off and see if you could speak through your mic to these. Well, actually, no, they won't be able to hear you. I don't want to hang up on you, caller, but I want to see if I can get Joe on simultaneous with you. And I forgot how to do this, so bear with me, all right?
all right, no problem.
Let's see what happens here. All right, Joe, that should be you.
Yep, I'm here.
Hold on. Can you still hear me?
I'm here.
Okay. All right, you should both be on the line now. Go ahead, guys.
Do you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Hey, I can hear you. I can hear you, Joe.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, right on.
Yeah. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah. So I was just saying, like now, more recently, like with the shedding, I've noticed a bit of inflammation on the back of my scalp. It's a bit red. And I've had dandruff before. There was even a time years ago where I had like really bad dandruff. It was like pretty thick scales. I did change my diet a little bit and everything, but like this inflammation in the back, it's red and stuff. And I do have an appointment with the dermatologist. It's just not for like a few weeks from now, but it's just like frustrating because
Of course.
Let me jump in on this because what you're talking about, you just mentioned it's almost like scaling. Is that what you're talking about? Did I hear you say that?
No. Well, years ago, I had bad dandruff years ago, and a lot of it had to do with like I was using a blow dryer every day on high heat, so I just stopped doing that, and then that type of dandruff stopped. But like periodically throughout the year we'll get dandruff, but it's kind of light. But now more recently I get like a bit of redness in the back of my scalp. And it's a little inflamed, not like badly, but it's, I'll put like aloe on it. But yeah, and I've gone through a little bit of a shed.
Are you using like Nizoral or anything like that to try to treat it? Any sort of medicated shampoos?
Yeah, so I bought Nizoral probably like last week. I'll use it maybe twice a week. I don't know how good it is to use it like every day. I'm not sure.
Okay. Let me just interject with an idea that, based on my own experience with this, because I've had similar situations in the past where I've spoken about this several times on the show and in some videos I've done. Probably almost 20 years ago, actually, or maybe not quite 20 years ago, I had a really bad situation that made me question my future in the industry because I thought all my hair was coming out. And I'm talking about the donor area, where I had large, not even flakes. It was like Roman battle shields of skin coming off my scalp, and it was taking some hair with it. And it was like I didn't have big patches of no hair on my scalp or anything, but it was really concerning. It was freaking me the F out, and I had no idea what was going on. So that's when I first started to evaluate my intake, because anytime you have something like this, it's not simply a matter of using some sort of medication or a shampoo or anything like that. All you're doing is treating the symptom. You're not addressing the root cause of what's going on. So what I did is I completely changed my
my nutrition, my intake levels, or not levels, but my intake style, what kind of foods I was eating. Like, you're talking to a guy who, for lunch, would be seeking out the best Dagwood-style sandwich for lunch, where it's, bread and processed meats and, get some extra cheese on there and the mayo and the mustard and the pickles and all this shit.
I think that makes me want to order a chicken parm on garlic bread. I think I'm going to do that tonight.
I'm telling you, right? Like, it's so good. Yeah. But that kind of eating is terrible for you. And I don't care who you are. Like, if you're not having any symptoms from it, that's fine. But we're not meant to be eating that kind of food, as good as it may be. And God bless it, it is good. But I stopped doing that. And I was also probably going through some stress at the time from, for one reason or another. But eventually, it not only stopped, it did reverse. And eventually, my hair became better than ever. And probably 10 years ago, it was about 10 years ago, maybe 14 years ago, I went through another phase of my life where I got more serious about fitness. I was doing strength training. I was doing, back then it was called caveman diet. Now it's called carnivore diet. Well, not so much the same thing, but very, very similar. And my hair was really good. Like, people were asking me, did you get another hair transplant or something? People haven't seen me in a while. I lost 25 pounds in like 3 months. It was really great. So fast forward to now, I'm actually going through something like that again, or I was up until just a few days ago, where I am going through some stress in my life right now. Nothing major, but it's some shit that's bothering me. And I did notice that I was having some, I'll say dandruff, but not quite dandruff, just really dry conditions on my scalp on the left-hand side, which is where it was before. And I did notice that there was some skin buildup where it was about to start flaking off. And if I would scratch it, like, I'd get the snowstorm, but it's resolved like 95% so far, and it's getting better. And I have been making some changes to my daily routine as far as my intake. I have 98% quit drinking, as far as, like, I don't have a glass of wine every night with my meal. I might have a couple beers on the weekends now, but I went for like 3 weeks with nothing. Just kind of do a cleanse, and my stresses have been coming down as well. And I'm feeling a lot better because of it. My hair is starting to feel better. And I did start using Nizoral again, and there's nothing wrong with using it daily if you feel like it'll help. And that's the point about that. Because you're talking about the Nizoral and you weren't sure. But I wanted to relay that to you, not just to you, but to anyone listening, that a lot of our problems with, that are physiological, that come out of nowhere, are due to some sort of deeper root cause, where treating the symptoms fine, you get some relief, but you got to be prepared to make some changes to try and, it is an A/B test type of situation where we don't know exactly what the problem is, so we have to guess. And you do some research, you start reading up on this stuff, you start making more educated guesses until you zero in on what that issue is. And it's still a guess, but if it works, it works. And, so, I mean, that's all I can really tell you about it. But about the Nizoral, use it every day for a week or two. See how that works out for you. Don't forget to use some conditioner afterwards in case it dries out your hair and your scalp a little too much. But, there's nothing wrong with it in my view.
Okay.
Honestly, you could also use, if you feel uncomfortable using Nizoral every day, if your hair is too dry. And Head & Shoulders makes a good product, and it's it's not ketoconazole, but it's what is it called? How do you pronounce the zinc? Pythinamide.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember.
Anyway, ZPT for short. It really has similar effects, in some cases better effects on inflammation. And the shampoo itself seems to provide, in my view, a better quality, experience as far as, your hair and your texture. And you can use that every day.
Yeah, and Joe, that great advice with the Nizoral. But when you said you had like some flaking, was like the side of your scalp red? Was it like a little inflamed, or was it just?
It was. I could feel it. It was inflamed. It was. I didn't look at it to see if it was red, but I could tell. I could feel it burning. There was a burning sensation for sure. It wasn't terrible, but I mean, it was noticeable. And by the way, and just a note, my ketoconazole, my Nizoral is 2%, not the 1% that you get over the counter in the States. I'm in Canada, and it's 2% over the counter all day long here.
Wow. Okay. Because it's prescription here, I think 2%. So that's why.
That's just another reason to move to Canada.
I know,
no,
right?
Don't move here. No.
If you want to make less money and live under what I would consider to be a true fascism, then that's probably the place to go. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, right. But with the medication, though, I was considering on getting on ProScar. It's something I was considering when I was first getting on the medication. I was set to get on it, cut it into 4s, take 1.25. But at the time, the doctor I was going to didn't feel comfortable prescribing ProScar because he said it's not meant for hair loss, even though it's the same compound as Propecia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
but I
just got to say something. I've heard that for the entire time I've been in this industry, and that is the dumbest fucking thing for a doctor to say. I mean, it just shows such a lack of understanding of their craft. For them to say, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable prescribing this for hair loss," even though it's the exact same thing, exact same.
I heard a doctor on one of these social media lives. I'm not going to say which one, and there was a young kid who called in asking about finasteride, 16 years old, and she said, "Yeah, you could take it, something like Sweet 16, perfect," and I'm just like. I mean, I guess in very specific cases, I've known the youngest person I ever knew who took it was 17, almost 18. Mm-hmm. But at the very least, you want your body to be fully developed. And it may not even be fully developed at 18 for these kids. It depends, especially today. So, I mean, I was just mortified by that little bit of advice. And there's just like, you just see like, 20 sycophants in this live room thanking this person for the advice. And that's really bad advice. It could be dangerous.
Terrible.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because the ProScar, like it is cheaper, but like Propecia, I don't mind paying for it. It's just because I've been going through a little bit of a shed. I thought maybe the 0.25 extra per day would maybe help a little bit, because I know I've listened to the show in the past where you've mentioned a slight increase in the dose could help subside any further shedding. It also could just be the stressful event I experienced, 2-3 months ago, and now I'm just going through
it's likely the stressful event, but it's also probably not going to do you any damage, and talk to your doctor about it, using ProScar. But, you're still new into the shed. Sometimes that just unfortunately happens during this entire hair loss hell process that we go through over the years. Mm-hmm. Just because you've been on medication and just because you haven't been going through what you consider a significant shed for 10 years, it just happens. I went through one. I upped my dosage a little bit, but it was probably started about 3 years ago, and then it just dissipated, and I've been on the drug for almost 30 years at that point, 26 years at that point, 25 years at that point. So, yeah, this is just the wave that we have to ride until, we're pushing up daisies at this point, unless we decide to shave our heads.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does suck. Look, I'm going through something now where I have to make a decision. Now, here's the good news. Even though there's some miniaturization happening, meaning the the hair shaft diameter is getting slightly smaller. I see more scalp, like when I pull my hair, like I put a comb through my hair, where it used to be like super thick and you would see like a really strong part every time. Now you can see more skin, but I'm also 60. That's a pretty average, even for people who've never gone through male pattern baldness at my age or around 50 or so, even the guys with the thickest hair will start to see things diminish just from age. Your mitochondria is changing. Things are not functioning like they once did. So I have to make a decision to start a vasodilator or some medication to potentially just hold on to what I have right now and extend this protracted agony that I've been living for the last 40 years,
Yeah.
But that's just reality, man. So
Well,
you're probably
I
not going to have a
considered-
problem switching medications if you can find a doctor to prescribe it. But
Well, I did find one.
Yeah.
So, and he was comfortable with it. There was even another doctor I had seen a few years ago when I was living in a different borough. He even recommended I take Propecia, just cut into fours because I'll save money. And but I didn't want to mess with anything. Like so.
You mean take
'cause
Proscar?
Take Proscar and just cut into fours.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't want to mess with anything. I was like, I'll just stick with Propecia just because I've been fine with it. But
Well,
now,
now's a good opportunity to mess with it if you want because you're already going through an effluvium.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as far as like maybe getting on it now and just doing it. But I also considered like an oral minoxidil maybe. But the only thing is like all the brand name oral minoxidil, I think there's two. You can't get them in the U.S. I don't know if they
No, but
make it.
you'd have to just find a a lot of it's being compounded now, but you can find generic tablets. But, I think, right, Joe? You can still find generic tablets.
Yeah.
So you just have to make sure you stick with the company or do your best to stick with the same company. So if you see that you're getting good results, you want to stick with that brand of generic, and,
okay. Yeah.
Just talk to your drugstore about it. Say, look, and also just pay attention to the pills and pay attention to the bottle. Look, I'm in a position now where I'm considering it, but because I'm not going through a heavy effluvium, I do see hair, but I've always seen that throughout my entire process. Like when I blow dry my hair, like there's a big bathtub right behind like I guess it's a vanity, whatever it is. And there's always hair from blow drying in that bathtub. When I lived elsewhere, sometimes it would be on the wall, but you're blow drying your hair. But I wouldn't see it like wet in the comb that much, 2 or 3, whatever, and not a lot in the shower. So that's a very normal amount to lose. But now at this point, it's kind of like, okay, well, things are diminishing. I need to figure it out because as I continue to lose, the hair's not generating as quickly as it used to. So oral minoxidil may be, or another vasodilator may be something that I'm going to jump on as well. So I understand kind of the fear of changing things. I talk about that all the time. And right now I'm in that position personally as well. But you're in a position where you're shedding right now. So
Yeah.
it may be a good opportunity for you to add something.
Yeah, because I've been on it for a while. Like I said, I started this process really at 21. I'm going to be 34 next month, so I'm grateful I've been able to pretty much maintain, everything. But it sucks. I'm still like young, even though I'm like.
What does that mean?
I'm still.
What's wrong? What am I? Chopped liver?
No.
I feel exactly the same as you do.
You still want it, and I know myself. I'm still going to want hair at 60, 65, 70, 80 years old. Like I just, who doesn't want hair on their head? That's the thing. Like, so it's just like, it's just really crazy.
We're also living in a different time. And I'm not saying I hate these people. Now there's this whole thing on TikTok. I just joined TikTok. I just started to post and it's all these like old people, like 50 years old, close to my age, whatever, these women. And just like, this is what 50 looks like. It's frightening actually to see it. And then everyone's kind of like one-upping each other and stuff. It's really sad, to be honest. It's like this is an app for kids, basically. So, but the reality is there's a group of people who have exercised throughout their lives, taken care of themselves. And I see some of these 50-year-old women who you're just like, holy cow, they look better than some of these, 25 or 30-year-old chicks. So it's possible today to live a longer life and a healthier, more attractive life as you get older, but it takes a lot of work. So when people say, yeah, when I'm 60 or 65, I'm still going to care, but it's not going to matter that much. If you're taking care of yourself, it's going to matter because you have a life, You're going out, you're socializing, you're living your life, you're still fucking, whatever. You're going to want to look good. That's the way it is.
True.
Our parents just gave up on themselves.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah.
I used to see 60-year-old people would be like, what in God's name? Go to a high school reunion, it's ridiculous. So anyway, we're also living in an interesting time where even though 30 years ago I would say we're 5 years away, that's what I thought originally, like everybody else, it really may be a reality now where we're within a 5 to 10 year period of really having much better options than ever. And I do believe that AI is going to play a tremendous role.
You need somebody like Elon Musk to take care of this. Like, it's going to take somebody like him, I think, to really...
When I have dinner with him next week, we're going to be talking all about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully you do, That'd be great.
I'm just kidding. I just want to fly in the rocket.
No.
That's all I want. I just want to be on the rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes to Mars and doesn't come back.
Dude, why would I want to come back?
Exactly.
But I can get the hell out of here and colonize help to colonize Mars.
That'd be amazing.
Put me out the stud.
Oh, you'd be set.
All right, brother. Listen, we're going to try to take another call because Joe's taking up on the lines. But yeah, I would try to relax. It's only 3 weeks, but it could be an opportunity for you now, where you're not just shit scared to make any changes. Because what do you got to lose?
Yeah,
you're balding rapidly anyway. I'm just kidding.
No, oh, God forbid.
Yeah.
But, it was something I was thinking about. Even like something like PRP, I thought about that as well. So, there's a few things I would think about.
You know what? I'm just going to be candid with you. Not all PRP is created equal, and for the most part, it's just a growth stimulant.
Well, there was one guy I was looking up in Florida, I think, Joe Greco or something.
Yeah.
I heard he's pretty good.
Well, he's the only guy that I would consider at this point. Well, no, there's a few guys in the IHS who I would consider, to be honest with you, but it's still only maybe 5. Joe's son is a member of the IHS, and Joe is like the original, the OG when it comes to platelet-rich plasma for hair loss. So, yeah. He seems to be getting some good results over the years, but it's still, nothing's guaranteed. To me, if you're willing to take medication and you have no adverse side effects, that's your first best bet.
Right. So like oral minoxidil, you're saying, or something like that.
Yeah, or changing, upping your finasteride to some degree. Talk to your doctor about that. But, people are getting some tremendous results with oral minoxidil. I don't want to push medication, but all I can say is I am really considering it myself. I'm considering a different vasodilator, which if I decide to take it, I'll write about it and talk about it. It's not going to be as dramatic as far as the hair growth effects as oral minoxidil, but it also kind of works through a different mechanism, even though it's a vasodilator. It helps to remodel the skin. It helps to slow down fibrosis or reverse it, which is part of retrograde and senescent alopecia. So right now, if I was able to save what I have, forget about it was better 5 years ago, a lot better, especially in the back and the sides. If I'm able to save what I have right now, I could still dummy it up where it looks like I have a pretty full head of hair. I mean, I'm 60, like I keep saying 100 times a show. if I could keep it for another 5 years, I'll be 65. You know, so if I can keep what I have right now, I'd rather have less of a chance of adverse side effects and going through a major telogen effluvium. But someone like you who's young, who really wants to have a protracted hair growth life, oral minoxidil may be the way to go.
Yeah.
You're 34.
Yep.
I mean, you got your whole life ahead of you.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, the only reason I didn't get on it initially is just because everything was okay. But, now it's like, oh, it's a little bit of shed. It's probably temporary, but, maybe it's worth trying.
Brother,
But,
once we cross that line, nothing's okay. Ever again.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
It's true, though. It's true. It's true.
Well, look, there's a few people who really handled this well. Harry from Bald Cafe, love the guy. Great message.
Yeah.
But he happens to look super handsome without his hair, so he's lucky. So as much as he believes, and I know he believes this, that everybody is equipped to do what he did, as difficult as it was for him to take that step, his end result was good, Mm-hmm. So he got himself in shape. Yeah. He looks really good. He has a good shaped face. He's able to grow a good beard, which helps a lot. He's got a good brow to top of the head ratio. So it really works for him. And there's a percentage of men where it really works. Now, you're going to see guys on his channel and elsewhere that, it looks better than the scraps they had on their head, but they would certainly look better in many cases with their hair, where this guy, Harry, and some other people, it's negligible as far as their attractiveness, with or without hair. So, for guys like us who are not equipped to deal with it, this is a lifelong battle and it has ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. I mean, I have kids on social media. I'm trying to help them. They're making fun of my hairline.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're like, well, you're going bald. I'm like, I've been balding for 40 years. You're 12 years old.
Jeez.
So anyway, it is what it is. I don't mean to look. I talk about the reality of it. I'm not here to whine, but I'm here to be open to the people who are like me and who. Joe wasn't really like this. He was made to be this way. He was forced into this situation. Joe probably would have just shaved his head.
Yep. Oh, I've said that many times.
Yeah.
100%.
Joe would have just thrown the towel right away. Just kidding.
Well,
he looks good with a bald head.
Yeah.
I would have if it was later in my life, because in the early 90s, if I shaved my head then I was a skinhead. The world wasn't ready for Joe with a shaved head. If it was 10 years later, all day long.
Yeah, but there were a few guys.
I really enjoy it.
You also were able to grow a really good beard. So with the shape of your face, and you do have, you have good, good, what is it called on the side of your face? The jawline on the side of your face? Mandibles, Yeah, it works,
Yeah.
It definitely works. I've seen myself in images without hair. People have done it. Honestly, it's not that terrible. I just don't know if I can handle it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But we were just here to talk about, to deal with people who are maybe not equipped to just shave it, bro, and guide them in a direction where they're not fucked up. Excuse me, my French. I hate that. What's that term, French? Excuse my French. How old am I?
I believe you were 60.
That's right.
From what I hear.
I think you're right.
That's the rumor.
Yeah. So we try to help guys like you, and most of us are like you. So
no, I appreciate everything that you guys do. I've been really enjoying the show all these years. I've been listening and calling in multiple times over the course of 13 years.
Wow.
And you guys really provide a good service.
She said we still have 40 people watching. Anyway.
Yeah. What was that?
Nothing. All right, brother. Listen,
Nothing.
thank you so much. It's great. It's great that you've kind of been attached to the program for so long, and I'm glad we were able to help you over the years. And I think you're going to be okay. Look at this as an opportunity.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
A
You're right.
resetting,
Thank you. I
if you will.
appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good
All
luck.
right. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.
888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. We are live. Joe is live, kind of, on the phone and on camera. And, Joe, it's very possible that something happened with, my setup is actually set up correctly according to the person that I was trying to work with. But it's very possible that something's happening with the bus. It's very, the back and forth between us.
Yeah.
It's just something, that I cannot fix right now. The software everything is checked properly.
I think right now this workaround is adequate for our needs.
Oh, yeah. And Lewis, thank you for that, by the way. That was brilliant. It was like, it's funny how people are like, well, maybe this is a stupid idea, but do this. And I'm just like, that's brilliant. That's not stupid.
That's actually pretty damn good. Yeah. Well done, Lewis, in the chat room for the suggestion. Thank you very much. It's interesting because I have not touched this computer since our last episode. I've not done any recording. I've not done anything like that. So this did happen once before, years ago, where I hadn't touched anything and I fired things up and something happened to change my settings. But I think also there was an update to the OS that kind of made things get wonky. There wasn't that going on in this situation. So,
well, maybe an update on my
really
end. Who knows what's going on? If it is on my end, we'll try to fix it and test before the next broadcast. And Nick S., I mean, you are really fast on that ChatGPT, brother. Thank you.
What do you say?
He's explaining, excuse my French, originated in the 19th century when English speakers might have used French expressions in conversation and apologized for it, assuming not everyone would understand.
Very good. Now we know.
Now we know. We could take a phone call. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Gary of Nashville. I've talked to you guys several times.
Jerry, what's happening, man?
Great. Now my camera's locked up. Yay! Good times.
Well, just don't hang up. Just don't hang up.
No, I will reconnect the video call though.
So, Jerry, what's happening, man?
Okay, I see you both. You both look good. Okay.
How's my hair?
I'm going to ask you.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Both look. Hair is great. Your hair is fantastic. Two-part question, and then I'll shut up and let you guys answer. I've been looking on the internet at something called, I think it's Exosomes. I probably don't have that correct.
Exosomes.
And okay, so obviously I've read about it, and if you read about it, it's fantastic. It's going to cure everything. So I'm calling you guys, A, to see what the real deal is, and B, if it is a worthy product, can you take it in conjunction with the finasteride and minoxidil anti-inflammatory mix? Topical.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Great question.
Yeah.
And that let me jump on this first. That actually ties into the subject of today's show.
They are lying to you.
Your doctor is lying to you. Okay? And this was inspired. Spencer did a brilliant reel on Instagram a few days ago.
I did.
Where he was talking. I didn't tell you that, but yeah, he did.
Thank you.
Where he was talking about doctors that are spending more time on social media than they are in surgery. And that really struck a chord with me because it is a problem in my mind. And what are they doing in their social media? Well, some of the time that they're on social media is they're pushing TRP or exosomes or laser caps or, the TED procedure or, whatever new buzzword that they want to be in front of for that week. And I got two opinions on this. Number one, get your ass back in surgery, because if you got enough time to build up a massive following on social media, then who's doing surgery? Get back in there with your patient. I'm I'm really tired of seeing this, because when you see doctors, and I'll say doctors like Dr. Gary Linkoff, good for him. And I will say that maybe when he was building up his presence, he didn't have a whole lot of patients to begin with. Now he does. I'm positive, because he's got a very busy practice from his exposure, but it was from his exposure on social media. And in general, I think that doctors that are promoting the latest buzzword on their social media, they need to take the direction of Aaron Nussbaum from Miami Hair in Miami, Florida. He doesn't do any of that bullshit. He shows his results. He may get on camera and he's talking to the camera about a result, but he's not pushing exosomes. He's not pushing treatment.
I want to say something about Aaron real quick, because I did have a conversation about this very thing yesterday, which is interesting. So before I forget, I did say that, we're growing, I'm growing my personal presence on, so I hate to use brand because I don't even need to do that. I hate that word, but just my presence. And I was like, I like the idea that you're not out there trying to sell yourself and promote yourself. But I also think you're a young guy. He's a handsome guy, and he's kind of could be relatable to some of these younger people. So I said, listen, we should have some conversations that I can cut into shorts, not to promote you, but to kind of give people an idea. Like, you're a young guy. You've been in this industry since you were basically a teenager with your dad. You can provide people with a lot of good information that may be relatable to them coming from you. And he was into it, So, yeah. But I think in that respect, that's good, to get something like that out there.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Go ahead.
Because he's not pushing, and this goes back, and sorry, caller. I mean, it sounds like a rant, but this is something I've been waiting to talk about.
Now you'll circle back to his
yeah,
question.
of course, but it does tie into what you're talking about. But the second thing I was getting into is the promotion of treatments that if you're a legitimate doctor that's been through medical school, you have your MD, and your stated purpose of doing the best job that you can for your patients is followed up by, hey, we want to do the surgery for you. Glad we made it through. Everything looks good. By the way, do you want this treatment for $1,900 to make sure it's the best it can be? If you really want your patient's outcome to be the best it can be, which is, your job, why make them pay for something that costs maybe $300 for you overhead? Why not just increase the cost of the surgery overall and absorb all that into that new price structure instead of doing the upsell like a used car salesman?
I did a reel on that a long time ago, and I got shit from a nice doctor about it. I'm just like, just charge him anyway. You don't have to let him know. If you believe that this is going to make the process better in the end for the patient, it should be included, and just charge him for it. Yeah. But don't charge this retail of an additional $2,000 when it costs. Like, some of the markup on this stuff is ridiculous. Well, didn't we hear Ron Shapiro doing that recently? One of the callers? Was it Ron?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Somebody called in and said that they went to Shapiro.
It was. Actually, I do remember. That was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I hope he hears this, because he doesn't have to do that. He could just include it.
ACell, which is the first regenerative medicine add-on from 20 years ago, 19 years ago, 2006. That's when it first became a thing. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, you came on this program. I don't even think you were on the show yet.
Yeah, I wasn't even on the program yet.
You got on the program because you just kept calling me like a stalker.
Well, I kept sending you money too.
Yeah.
It cost $400.
By the way, our caller from Nashville is like 70 years old, so I don't know how much time he has to wait for his answer.
So,
caller, you there?
That's my point. That's my point about these add-ons.
I hear what you're saying. I've been around a while, and I've been watching this industry. A, it interests me, and B, use some product. But I bought product from the Man from U.N.C.L.E. back on a late night TV show years and years ago, and seen what's happened now.
The Helsinki formula?
Yeah, oh yeah. So you click on one thing about hair loss, and you just get bombarded with.
You're done.
I understand, but to answer number one, take this stuff or not.
Yeah. So as far as your exosomes are concerned.
Yeah.
So let's answer this guy's question, then we can go back into Joe's rant. Joe, so essentially what Joe is trying to express by going into the topic of the show, which we didn't get to earlier, is that, anytime there's some science, in quotes, that may be applicable to some other type of, I don't know, health issue or, something that would work with, regenerative medicine, the hair guys get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And there's very little real clinical studies that are done long term. We don't know. No one knows what the hell they're injecting to their scalp. As far as the topical exosomes are concerned, the only reason those were made is because exosomes weren't legal to inject, and still aren't in many cases, in many states, into the scalp. Mm-hmm. And so some enterprising companies came up with these topicals that you basically use a dermapen or a derma roller, abrade the skin, and then slather the shit on and say, you're good to go. Thanks for the $1,000 or whatever. I can tell you that I have seen some impressive results with injectable exosomes that were from the right company. But at this point, the way they're being mass marketed, the way that most doctors are offering them, I would say it's a complete waste of money, and Joe is absolutely right. It is like, P.T. Barnum, sucker born every minute, and I wouldn't waste my time.
Well, I appreciate that.
Is what you said, Spencer, is like, some sort of treatment that's for some other ailment, some other issue that patients have, and it's always the hair doctor that bring it on board. There's always one asshole that is the first to bring it on and then starts talking about being the pioneer with this treatment.
Oh, yeah.
And then 6 months later, you hear nothing about it.
Or he's bashing it.
Poof, it's gone. Or he's turning around and bashing it.
Yeah.
Right? So, and another thing for people to realize is that if there's a machine involved, some sort of specialized device for this new treatment, that doctor wasn't a pioneer in that. Some salesman came up to him and said, "Hey, we got a new product. Well, we want you to try it."
Yeah.
And just because he tried it and he sees money signs, dollar signs, because he can see the revenue they can bring in, which is what the salesman tells him, he's a pioneer. No. He's just lucky to be the first one to get this new revenue generated.
All right. So we got to your first question about exosomes. What's your second question?
Okay, well, if it was a worthy product, and you guys already convinced me that, and this is why I call, you saved me a couple of $100 and I won't use this stuff. But the second part was, if it was a worthy product, could you use it in conjunction with the finasteride minoxidil topical?
So let me ask you a question. Is this a product that you'd be ordering and using it in your home?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, they're slinging this stuff, and this is not injectable.
Yeah.
This is topical.
And now, I need you to understand how exosomes work, what they are, and I don't know if you know anything about them. I'm not going to get into the minutia of it, but the reality is these live, let's say, particles that are derived from stem cells, in general, they need to be kept at a certain temperature. You need to be able to test to see if these cells or these particles of cells are actually alive, biologically active. Almost everything that's going to be shipped to you through Amazon or wherever else, they may have some exosomes in them, but they're not alive. They're dead. There's no activity. There's no biological activity. And it's amazing to me. I mean, and so they're not lying. They're saying there are exosomes in the product, but they're not saying they're live exosomes because they're probably not. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Oh, perfectly. No, I get it. I get it. I just wanted to, again, the reason I called is to get the real deal from you guys. But, I mean, they're slinging this stuff out on the internet. You know how many people are going to buy this? And, like, if I, probably to make a ton of money, there are multiple companies doing it. Well, you guys know. It's just insane. Insane.
Look, I am on Instagram now, and I somehow built up, close to 100. I'm almost at 160,000 followers. And I know that these companies do not even bother to look at what I do, really. They just see the hair loss thing. Because the number of partnership deals, and I know a kid that is a trusted content creator, and he's got like 95 or 96,000. And he's getting the same offers too. And I have more followers. It's insane. I can get 50% of every sale of these products just by talking about them on my page. I can get a lump sum of money for hair transplant surgeries. Joe has been offered that as well. But as much money as we've been offered over the years through the real resources that we created, just being on social media and growing on social media, I'm not saying that's not real, but it's someone else's platform. It's been insane. Every day there's a direct message saying somebody wants to partner with me with some bullshit product. And what happens is these kids, they leverage social media to make a living, which I understand. That's great. But if I was just a young kid doing this to be a content creator, right now I could be making, from my Instagram alone, probably $40,000 or $50,000 a month. I mean, without even blinking. And that would just grow. That's what you're being sold. That's what you're seeing in your feed. You're seeing ads and you're seeing influencers who are promoting these products because they're making money. And there's nothing wrong with making money. We're in a capitalist society. They're on Instagram to make money and they're on TikTok to make money. But that's what people need to understand. There's no kid in his basement talking about derma rolling and adding some products on their scalp that is a true professional in any capacity. They're a salesman. So you're a 70-year-old man or 68-year-old, I forgot how old you are. You know this already. But even the fact that you asked us about it shows the power of, A, how badly we still want our hair, no matter how old we are, and could this be real? We still have hope, even if it's being sold online.
Hey, that's exactly right. I couldn't say that better.
Well, if you could, you'd be doing the show with us.
Yeah. Okay, one more statement. Very much, guys. Tell me what I need to know. I would relate this product kind of similar to platelet-rich plasma. Yeah, we can sell you platelet-rich plasma. We got it. But you know what? We don't know what platelet yield it is, and it may not even work. So that sounds like what you're telling me about the exosomes.
This is even worse because at least they're re-injecting plasma, your own plasma back. I mean, it's still it was just drawn from you. It is being prepared in some fashion, and there are going to be growth factors for sure. Even if it's platelet poor, there's going to be some degree of growth factors. This is even worse. You're probably going to get dead vesicles or particles of these extracellular exosomes, and there's no biological value.
All right. Thank you, guys. As always, this is why I call. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
All right, brother. Yep. Good luck. Take care.
Good hearing from you, buddy. Take care.
So let's finish your thoughts, Joe, because we didn't really do that. I could just sense through the phone this guy wanted to get the fuck out of here. He just wanted his questions answered.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, I basically got it out of my system, but is it ever really out of my system?
No.
No. I your reel from the other day was really good. It was really on point. And
did it do well? Let me see. Which one was it?
I don't know if it did well. I'm sure it did better than mine. Is the one where you're talking about? Oh gosh.
Let's see. Hair transplant surgeons or influencers? No, you know what? It's interesting.
Exactly.
Compared to my others, that did not do well. Let me see.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's
sadly. It did very mediocre. I mean, it still did nicely. I mean, it had almost 19,000 views. a decent amount of bookmarks, but only 15 shares and only 128 likes. Where if I like post a picture of a kid with a derma roller, I'll have like 4,000 likes. You know, like tremendous engagement.
Exactly.
They're sharing it all over the world.
Yeah.
But you just tell the truth from the beginning. You provide people with a real education, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah. This is contrary to my eventual goals. Delete, unfollow. No, it really. I thought it really hit home. I thought it was on point, and is just a great presentation. And it's how I feel about things. And then shortly afterwards, Dr. Nussbaum's reel came up, and he works with you. He's a hair transplant mentor doctor, and so it's one of the reasons why I like him is he can rely on his results before and after, and just a simple explanation of what's going on to do all the talking for him. Like, that's all he needs. I mean, the guy is booked out, I think, almost a year at this point. And, I talked to so many doctors, and most of them don't get it. You don't need to do this competition with with a guy down the street about being flashy on Instagram or TikTok or whatever to get eyeballs.
Well, I had
just put your results up. If they're good, then that's all you need.
I was talking to him about a physician that I'm separating from, and I say that now out of kindness for these doctors because the internet is just people will take my words now, and all of a sudden I'll be on Reddit and be like, they would say something nasty about whatever physician it is, for whatever reason, and that's I can tell you with confidence, whether they were part of what we do at one point or not, it was very rare that I've ever had to remove somebody for really being bad. There was one guy in Canada. There was a guy in Texas who did something really screwed up, who you know about. A couple of other guys.
I did the same. Yeah.
This is a separation based on some business choices that this person is making, and I just can't tolerate it.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be speaking to Aaron about it. And, well, listen, Aaron's been around for a long time. He knows everything, too. He knows where all the bodies are buried, man.
Yeah.
I actually had a really nice
he didn't learn himself. His dad told him.
Yeah. I had a nice conversation with him. But all I can say is, like, even some of the better doctors are now making some really bad judgment calls that are going to end up hurting their practices in the end, especially if they want to, some of these guys are older now, but they're still, whatever, they're my age or a little younger. I mean, they still, they probably have huge overhead. They need to work. But they're making mistakes because they are undercutting their competition now. They are doing things that may be similar to what's happening overseas. All things that they don't need to do to stay on top of the game.
Speaking of which, just real quick, did you hear about the doctor who died in his own hyperbaric chamber because it caught on fire?
No.
I immediately thought of all the doctors that are rushing out to get hyperbaric chambers to say that they want to help the patient when it's actually to help cut down the amount of necrotic tissue they're getting in their patients. And I was like, oh my God.
Why did it catch on fire? Was he like wearing a wig or something?
It didn't say in the story that they're still investigating, but it was in Europe, I think. I think it was in Europe or the UK, but he was a known cosmetic surgeon. Like, people knew who he was. He had a good name about him, and it was late at night, and he was found in his hyperbaric chamber after they put the fire out on the building because it went up in flames. Some sort of explosion on that, and the whole building went up, and they found him inside of it.
Sweet baby Jesus.
It'd have to be a cold day in hell before I get one of those now. Like, all it takes is a spark. Just some sort of miniature little spark from whatever. Boom. Because it's pure oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thank you. That scared the shit out of me. I just had visuals of that, of the briquette that they pulled out of that thing. No thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand the whole idea about, like if you have rickets, to prevent rickets or to reverse it.
Oh, of course.
I understand the basic concept of healing in that atmosphere. But isn't it possible to create an environment in your body where you're going to have a faster healing process? Remove like part of the protocol should be like, either fast, removing sugar, removing everything from your system for a certain amount of time. Not just like don't smoke for 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, actually get yourself in shape.
I mean, I tell everybody who will listen, and they won't, that minimum a month before any surgery, but especially this, I mean, you're having cosmetic surgery, you got to be top notch, man. No booze, stay away from sugar, try to lower your carbs, or at least your high glycemic index carbs, up your protein, get as much exercise in as possible prior to surgery. But you don't want to do it too close to your surgery either. And you got to get off of all your supplements. And I mean, I guess some doctors are talking about that now, getting off your supplements.
Yeah. I want to correct something in the chat. Nick S. was assuming you're talking about Dr. Wong when you said you removed a doctor that was in Canada.
No, I didn't say Canada.
What's that?
I didn't even say Canada.
Yes, you did. You said Canada and then Texas.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was talking about years ago. Now, this was done in like 2003. It was a guy on the east coast of Canada.
Clarified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the
Coast.
East Coast of Canada, who he made a name for himself jumping into FUE, and as one of the first. I remember talking him through the procedure, by the way. Literally talking him through the procedure, because I had people on my show who had the Woods technique. They talked me through it, even though the tools were hidden. But looking at their scalps, I could see that there was a punch tool used.
Yeah.
I talked Rassman through it too. And it's so funny, man. These guys will never admit that, but they all said this can't be done. And I talked them through this surgery. Rassman Bernstein, that paper came out within 6 months of my initial conversation with them. Both telling me this cannot be done. But I digress. Yeah. But this guy,
of course, I mean that was a situation, but
this guy was kicked out. He was the first guy that I actually had to kick out. Like, just say, dude, you're out. I remember he asked me for a refund. It was hilarious because he was upselling liposuction to a guy who just had a hair transplant. And he was under anesthesia.
Yeah, he was in the middle of the hair transplant surgery, under anesthesia, on the table.
How do you remember this? You were in a round.
It was a patient. I was the one that first told you about it. It was a patient I was dealing with.
You're the one who got this guy pissed off at me, who ended up trying to destroy my life. But whatever.
I just told you about what happened. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Just what the patient told me.
I think that may have been a test. You're like, let's see if Kobren's serious about this whole IHRS thing.
Let's see if he needs. Let's make him put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
No, but also to address some other things in the chat. Lewis, he said, I have no experience with Dr. Wong. I'm just going off what others have said. I can't say much about him. It wouldn't be fair. I don't think it's fair of you to say that other doctors have been talking about him either, because you can't substantiate it. You probably don't want to name any names. And I can tell you for a fact that his work is still impeccable.
I will tell you this. Dr. Wong and I separated, and he's still counting my money publicly for whatever reason, and I don't understand it. And it's ridiculous. And I'm just like, dude, mind your own business. We're helping people here. Why are you so upset that I've made money over the years? With all that said, even though I think he could be a prick, that's kind of a pricky thing to do.
Yeah.
He's one of the best doctors that ever existed in this field.
Yeah.
End of subject.
Yeah.
I mean, it infuriates me when I see people speaking negatively about his work and his work ethic and his abilities and what he's what he has brought to this industry and to this field. Guy was second to none. So whatever's being talked about online, was he a little bit of a prick to me? Whatever. He couldn't comprehend it. It just bugged him that, in his mind, I'm not performing surgery and I'm somehow making more money than everybody. That's his problem.
Right. But I will say to Lewis, I understand where you're coming from, but I am here to tell you that I know a lot about what's being said, and I know the real story, and it's not true.
Oh, wait. So something being said now?
No, well, he's saying that he's been reading some things online, and he was advised by other doctors. I don't know what he's talking about there, but Dr. Wong's been getting some shit that is completely made up, and I can't get into too much detail, but I feel bad for him because one patient who, in my opinion, and I know who this patient is because he's talked to me as well. In my view, he's got problems that go far beyond surgery, and
that's very common.
I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. When you have a person that has been to, let's say, 3, some would say world-class surgeons in a row, and all 3 of them, in his words, have fucked him up. And then he goes to a 4th world-class surgeon, and that surgeon has fucked him up. What are the odds of that happening? Could it be maybe the one common denominator, which is the patient? Or did he just happen to have lightning strike 4 times where 4 different world-class surgeons maimed him, disfigured him, botched him? I think the math doesn't really add up. And I happen to know the truth about this because, like I said, I've spoken to the patient.
So I just want to say that, guys, I'm kind of lost. I don't even know what Joe's necessarily talking about, but obviously there's something going on right now about with Dr. Wong.
Lewis knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's something that's been going on for a while. But I just want to say it is horseshit. It really is. And I cannot wait for the truth to come out.
Well, dude, I've known the guy.
It may not.
I've known the guy for 20 years, and I screw around with him, saying that he was kind of pricky to me. But whatever. That never clouded my judgment about the reality of his work.
Yeah,
that's just the way that it is. It doesn't mean I have to work with him. It just means look.
Yeah.
If you're going to get surgery, if this guy's going to put his hands on you personally. Now, it's one thing if everything's delegated and he's not working anymore. I don't know about that. Somebody actually asked me. Somebody called. I did a live stream yesterday on Instagram, and said that he's about a half an hour away from Hassan Wong, and they didn't even want to see him. And I said, well, who'd you speak to? Some guy, Chris or something, and that they were trying to sell him online. And I said, but who are you supposed to have surgery with? And he named some new guy who I never heard of. And I said,
the clinic is training some new doctors because Hassan Wong have been around for Victor is he's 60.
He's like my age.
He's like 60. Yeah, he's about your age. And then Dr. Wong is considerably older, and they're training the next generation. So in 2 years, it won't be Hassan.
Well, no, I'm fine with that.
Going behind Hassan Wong anymore.
The only thing that I was concerned about it was that he's literally within driving distance, and he suggested coming in, and he was told that he doesn't need to come in.
Yeah,
and that was shocking to me.
Well, that's a whole different issue.
Yeah.
I don't mind saying since I left 10 years ago, things,
it's become a shit show.
I wouldn't say a shit show, but there's some things that go on that I wouldn't care for.
Dude, I'm going to say this for public consumption. Joe Tillman was the best thing that ever happened to Hassan Wong. And you were able to highlight what they were able to accomplish in a way that no one else could have. You changed the field completely. And, I do not believe that either of them, in my view, ever really appreciated what you were able to accomplish for them and for their careers. They would not be who they are today if it wasn't for you. Doesn't mean they didn't have a skill set, but they would never have been who they are, or never have. Definitely would not have reached that pinnacle back in the mid 2000s if it wasn't for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, it's the truth, and it kind of pisses me off that no one gets credit. It reminds me of something. Great guy. Wants to come and do the program. I don't know if I'm going to be here in August to do it. And I told him I may not be here. September's better for me. And he said something about, he really loves doing the show, which is great. And I love having him here and doing the program. And he said, it's just, he sees there's a lot of value to being on the program. I'm like, sure. I mean, and you're helping people too. And then the next conversation was through email, something about, he's always asking, how people have heard from him, and it's always either the IHS or the AHLA, or they've seen me on the show. And that just kind of makes me realize, like when I have conversations with other doctors, they don't fully understand what being connected, some people, to people like us does for their practices and does for the consumer. And for the field as a whole. So maybe if this is the case that you're telling me behind the scenes, why not promote our work through your social media and everything else so that other patients who see what you're talking about have a effing fighting chance? No, they may not just come to you. They may just come to one of your colleagues who's doing good work too.
Yeah.
But it would just better the field. I mean, it gets me so upset. And then I'm going on a tangent because I know how those guys did not appreciate you. That's all I'm saying. And you've helped a lot of patients because, through them. So that's it. End of rant.
I've got docs that appreciate me now. Last time I talked to, I'm going to go name names because I don't want to be patting myself on the back too much, but it's nice to hear from some of the doctors I work with that do call me up and say, you know what, it is about affiliation because, patients that come to me, they follow you.
They're well informed.
They're more educated.
Yeah.
They're well informed. They have better expectations. They don't lose their shit if something isn't
God forbid
perfect,
there's a complication. They're prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's about, So, anyway, I forgot what the whole point of this was, but yeah. Great
Joe's going to take this whole thing, clip it up, and put it on his Instagram.
I got some in the other room already doing it.
You got flying AHLA seals and all this stuff.
Exactly. Trusted content creator.
Yeah. So listen, Lewis, thank you for making the suggestion. You really, I don't even know why I didn't think of it. We're sitting here like dopes trying to figure this out live on the air when Joe just had to call in.
Because we got the pressure. We got the pressure of filling in dead air and trying to fix this technical issue sitting on our thumbs, Yeah. And hey, these guys are relaxed. They're like, hey, why don't you just call in?
Yeah,
it works.
What's interesting? It's very possible that for some reason it's not showing in my software, but it's very possible that something happened to something on either one of the buses on my board, which I don't think so because I hear you fine.
Yeah,
it's more about the way the stream is hitting YouTube. And
I think it's time to consider a new platform.
Honestly,
like
I might. I just haven't found anything that can do what this does as well as it does, but maybe you have.
Yeah. I got one thing in mind. We can talk about it, but we'll see.
All right, guys. Well, listen, good show, little inside baseball. Whatever's happening with Dr. Wong, if he's being dragged in the mud somewhere. That's really too bad because there's a lot of other docs that really deserve it. Probably.
Yeah.
And people in this
It's
industry.
ugly.
And that's that. But that never seems to be the case, though. The bad guys always seem to kind of be able to skate by.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well said.
All right. All right, guys. Until next
Good
time.
stuff. Thanks, guys.
Be strong. God bless. Thank you so much for listening, and sorry for the late start.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.